Who is Ariane Tabatabai, the person accused of leaking secrets from United States to Iran of Israel's attack plans? We've done some deep dive research about her antecedents and it makes for interesting reading. By the way, this is by no way a indictment of her or saying that she did do it. There are still questions being asked. There is a probe by the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and it's not at this point confirmed that she was indeed the leak. However, there are two or three people that are being looked at closely, and she might be one of them. That's it. So I'm going to share with you a slide deck that kind of tells you how foreign countries operate in United States, either covertly or overtly. A small request to all of you to please like this video and please share this thing with your friends and families. Who is Ariane Tabatabai? Is she a Pentagon official or a Tehran asset? Well, Ariane Tabatabai is an academic turned State Department and Pentagon official. She was part of the now infamous Iran Experts Initiative. I'll come to that in just a minute. A program used by Tehran's Ministry of Foreign Affairs to cultivate relationships with foreign academics who could carry water for the regime. At one point, according to reporting from a website called 𝗤𝗲𝗄, which revealed the existence of this program, meaning many people didn't even know that IEI existed, Tabatabai opted to skip a conference in Israel after an Iranian official instructed her not to go. So this is where the problem cuts. Why would she listen to an Iranian official and decide to skip a conference in Israel? I mean, she is an American citizen and she has high security clearance. Then why would she listen to an Iranian official and stay away from the conference? These are all the questions that are being asked. The documents that have been leaked reportedly detail Israel's plans to attack Iran. While this is going on in one thread, Israel is already doing some things to Iran. Also, it seems like Israel is not saying anything, but this suspense makes it, even more confusing as to what is really going on the ground. Now, the report was cited by Sky News Arabia, referencing a Pentagon official. The leak has sparked concerns about the potential national security implications, and Tabatabai's alleged involvement in the leak is under scrutiny by the Pentagon. But FBI is also investigating the alleged leak. So there are two different organizations that are looking into it. The FBI is collaborating with the Department of Defense and the intelligence community on the investigation. Two top secret documents appeared on an Iranian Telegram channel on October 18. Right now, if you ask me, viewers, Telegram is the most happening social media channel, it looks like. Clearly, they have been in the middle of everything from the Russian-Ukrainian conflict. People were not sure whose side they were taking. I don't spend too much time on Telegram, so I can't say one way or the other. But suffice to say, Telegram is one of the places where a lot of stuff gets discussed, and so is Twitter. The documents included US assessments and satellite images from the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency. The documents detailed Israel's plans for retaliation against Iran following a strike by them on Israel. Ariane Tabatabai is the daughter of Javad Tabatabai, an Iranian professor of political science and law at the University of Tehran. Ariane holds a PhD from King's College London, specializing in international security and nuclear policy. Starting in 2015, Tabatabai worked as a researcher in Southern California-based RAND Corporation. You'll hear this RAND Corporation in many ways, like it is one of those things that is mentioned along with Ford Foundation, for example. RAND Corporation is a think tank specializing in policy analysis where she contributed to reports on Middle East security issues. She served as a faculty member at Georgetown University, focusing on international relations and security studies. Tabatabai wrote an article published by Foreign Policy magazine prior to the 2020 US presidential election, arguing that Iran's economy was fragile and its leaders would be forced to negotiate and make concessions. She urged the winning US presidential candidate not to return to the nuclear agreement and pressed for more points. See, if you look at this particular thing alone, it looks as if she is with the Iranian dissidents, right? So whether she is this or not, but at least this is her stated position because she has written about it. She wrote in foreign policy about it. So what happened after the Biden administration took office is the opposite. They did relax the curbs that Trump administration had put on Iran. In fact, they even freed up some money, which is believed to have really funded all these efforts of Hamas, Hezbollah, and Houthis. Now, she departed the negotiating team along with Richard's nephew after a few months because she believed that the US would lift too many sanctions on Iran and consequently a reinstated agreement would not be strong enough. Tabatabai is a member of the Council on Foreign Relations. She holds a top secret security clearance from the Department of Defense. She was recently linked to the alleged leak of classified documents. However, in an internal review, she was cleared and she has since retained her security clearance. The Pentagon has done a study and they are saying that she had nothing to do with the leak. Sometimes these things could be tough battles, whether it is Pentagon or US Department of State, where somebody is trying to outmuscle somebody else. After all these organizations are pyramids, and the way to the top, you can go up only by pushing somebody else down. So, since early 2022, she has been Chief of Staff to the Pentagon's Assistant Secretary of Defense for Special Operations and Low Intensity Conflict, Christopher P. Meyer. Sky News Arabia reported her connection to the leak, which was later dismissed by Pentagon as irresponsible reporting, especially the story by Fox News correspondent Jennifer Griffin. Despite the ongoing investigation by the FBI, she has stated that she has not been contacted by the investigators. But then there are many other controversies around Ariane Tabatabai. Now, one other person whose name you will see here is Robert Malley, the person that I mentioned fairly early on. We'll come back to that and see how his connection, by the way, he was the US ambassador to Iran, and then a controversy happened that he was sharing some documents with Iran, after which the Biden administration kind of dumped him, but then they still kept him. So this part of it is very, very unclear as to why they would do both dumping and then continuing to retain him for some things. So these are all murky places in which you're probably not going to be going, and social media has now brought out all these coexisting contradictions, if you will. Now, despite concerns, she remained employed in the Pentagon office overseeing special operations and irregular warfare. Suspicion about her potential ties to the Iranian regime emerged from emails published by news outlets. 31 Republican senators raised concerns in a letter to Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin. Senator Tom Cotton expressed dissatisfaction, comparing the situation to past notorious former CIA and FBI spies such as Aldrich Ames and Robert Hansen. He pressed for more information in closed-door hearings. The Defense Counterintelligence and Security Agency continues to vet Tabatabai, but details on her potential involvement in the Pentagon's Israel-Iran efforts remain unclear. Reports claim European counterparts refused meetings with Tabatabai over concerns about potential leaks. Look, one thing is tough warfare in the United States. But when other country officials start ignoring someone from within the US establishment, that means they are in possession of some data that seems to indicate that there is indeed some substance to this story. So we have to wait and see how this thing plays out. Clearly, even the Pentagon has said that she has not done anything wrong, there is some other thing that is happening, and we have to wait and see how that comes out. Diplomacy, espionage, these are all not things that are going to break out in a day. It's not a 2-hour movie. Media outlet Iran International published allegations of her involvement in a network of academics working with Iran's foreign ministry and consulting Tehran on international matters. Robert Malley, remember I told you the former Iran envoy, is accused of helping fund and direct an Iranian influence operation infiltrating Ariane into sensitive US government roles. See, when he was the US ambassador to Iran, he would have wielded a lot of power. Remember, I also told you about macro advisory partners and who runs it. So, see, it all comes back in and ties in with the same thing. People have been placed specially in special locations for a special purpose. A trove of Iranian government email shows Tabatabai's ties to an Iranian propaganda unit, the Iran Experts Initiative, formed by the Iranian Foreign Ministry in 2014. The emails indicate she was part of a group of Iranian American academics who secretly promoted Iranian interests and influenced US policy, leveraging their academic credentials. The IEI, funded by the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, recruited US based analysts to support Iran during the nuclear negotiations with the US. Emails show Tabatabai asking Iranian officials for instructions on various matters, including attending conferences in Israel and Saudi Arabia and briefing US congressional members. See, there are some controversies. Finally, if she is the guilty party or not will be proved, or it might not even be proved. But if she quietly gets eased out, that would mean that there was something, there was some smoke. Despite these ties, Tabatabai was clear to work in sensitive positions, raising questions about the US security clearance process. Malley allegedly supported, this is Robert Malley, the American ambassador to Iran. Malley allegedly supported and hired individuals tied to the IEI, including Tabatabai, Ali Vaez, and Dina Esfandiari, to influence US-Iran negotiations. So now this is only the first name that has come out. Wait till more names start dropping out. There are demands for Congress to investigate why Tabatabai, linked to Iranian intelligence, remains in a sensitive Pentagon role and to question Malley's involvement. Analysts also claim Tabatabai's actions resemble those of a covert Iranian asset. Yet, the State Department has denied the characterization of the operation as a spy ring. In a 2023 report by a US journal, Semaphore, published in collaboration with Iran International, Tabatabai is mentioned along with other Iranian American citizens for their involvement in an Iranian government initiative aimed at improving Iran's image and influencing US national security policies. These individuals were involved in matters related to US national security despite their connection to Tehran. The report links the individuals, including Ariane, to a covert Iranian influence campaign. So it all comes back to the same thing. The IEI, Ariane, Robert Malley, and a few others whose names have not surfaced as far as controversies are concerned, but there are suspicions that they may have shared information and may have also asked for advice. This report suggests that this network covertly operated under the guise of academic and diplomatic engagement, potentially influencing US policies on behalf of Iran. So you have to expect that Iran also would have its spies in both Israel as well as in the US. You know that Israel actually arrested 6 agents of Iran from Azerbaijan. I think they have come through Azeri network and they've been working in Israel, and Israel has caught them. So there are going to be such things happening. Both sides will have their spies, of course. And her correspondence with IRGC official Mustafa Zahrani offers clear evidence that Malley's protege was an active participant in a covert Iranian influence campaign designed to shape US government policy to serve the interests of the Iranian regime. So this is where things stand, folks. As to what is going to happen afterwards, we'll have to wait and see. Clearly now, with 15 days to go or less than that for election, this campaign is now, this administration is more or less a lame duck administration. It will just take the most critical decision. The rest of the stuff, it will just let it ride. And once it is clear who the new person is, there will be a change. There will be a transition team that will take over all these things. So it's only for about 10 days that you have to wait and see what happens. But what is really intriguing is what I have been saying all along. There's a huge lobby for Iran, for Pakistan, for many other countries. China, in fact, it is alleged that it is owning swaths of land across the United States. So there are lots of lobbies for all these countries. Where is India's lobby? Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to click on the bell button for notifications. Namaskar.